Okay, so I have literally just finished season 2 of the Walking Dead video game series, and this is my overall review, kind of reaction ishness. So basically, this time round, you're playing as Clementine, as most of you have probably played this and completed it by now, and I can't add anything new to the table of what I'm going to say. I'm just going to give an overall thought of opinion. So, as I said, this time round, you're playing as Clementine, and it's the same shenanigans, which sounds weird in a zombie game. Shenanigans, so like, you sort of, no. And basically, you just gotta survive. That's one thing I like about these games. It's a story-driven game where you just have to survive. And the first step, so you meet these newish people. Actually, yeah, sorry, they are all new. I don't know what I'm about newish. And I didn't like them at first. To be fair, I honestly, the only one I liked was the dude. I can't remember his name. But Jake or Jack, I think. And yeah, but that's probably because he's the only nice one to you, and yeah. And you meet these other characters. A lot of them are like red shirts. They just die straight away. And it's episode 2 when things get interesting. Really, like I thought the first episode was okay. It's like anything really. The first episodes are usually just okay because you don't want your good episode to be the first one in anything really, because then it's just like, how can we top that? So I can understand. Episode 2 was the highlight because you get to see Kenny. Let's face it, we all jumped for joy when we saw Kenny. Even if Kenny wasn't your favourite character, you're just like, oh my god, there's someone from past season, and you're like, yes, and then you just charge up and hug him. I hugged him. Just no homo, just hug him, Yeah. And then they you meet these newer kind of, you meet these new characters. I kind of recognised them at first, and if you play for 400 days DLC, you meet them already, and it's for ones who you convinced, because I only convinced 2, I think it was, I'm not sure, 2 or 3. Yeah, I convinced 2 or 3 of them to go to the safe place which we meet, and they find out the leader's basically like the governor, but he's more psycho, and he holds them prisoner and stuff, and he forces them out, and then more characters die who aren't really interesting. Sorry, I didn't find this round of characters that interesting as I did the first lot. Like, the first time you play it with season 1, you really care about these characters, and season 2, they try and do the same thing again, but it doesn't work because there's nothing new you can bring to it. There's survivors in a zombie apocalypse. There's no catch that they can bring. So yeah, this leads us to episode 3. Episode 3 is probably the best one in my opinion. I've got this wrong actually. No, yeah, I am right. Yeah, sorry, yeah. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself in my head. Yeah, episode 3, you're in the sort of warehousey. I'm going to call it warehouse because it's pretty much a warehouse. I'm sure there's like a shop or 2 attached, but they've built it all together. And they're holding them prisoner, and you meet you meet Jane and Mike, and you basically escape, and you convince one of them, the guards, who is probably the only good one, called Bonnie, who you played as in the 400 DLC, to co-work with you and help you, and its final ending of that episode that it was the most intense what the fuckery ever, because you got this herd of zombies coming towards you, and you got zombie guts over you. You're trying your best to blend in, and believe me, that's very hard to blend into a zombie. And then but you got guys shooting you because they're up there and they can't tell which ones are people and which one are zombies because you look like zombies, but you're not zombies. And then they're shooting at you, and the zombies, and it's basically it's like dodgeball, really, but with bullets. Just think about that for a sec. And then so many more characters die, but this time you actually kind of care about them because you don't see it coming. Like usually in games like this, there's usually a scene where you kind of guess beforehand they're going to die. And you can sort of get that with this one, but as there's so much chaos, your brain kind of gets distracted of trying to survive and not get hit yourself, and not get caught by the zombies as well. But you kind of forget that the other people around you could die, and then when they die, you're like, holy shit, they died. And then, yeah, and it ends with the girl who I hate. This who's about the same age as Clementine, 11, 12-ish, and her dad gets shot, and then she goes all kind of emo psycho, which to be fair you would do if your father did die, you know. But she's so useless. She just keeps on getting herself in trouble throughout episode 4, and I just left her at the end. I was like, sorry, you had your chance. As mean as that sounds, but survival, bitch, you know. Yeah, episode 4 kind of slows down a bit from episode 3. You're just trying to find a new place because this chick's having a baby. I can't remember the names. The reason I can't remember most of their names is because probably because they're not that rememberable. Ones I do remember are quite rememberable. That sounds, I can't say that fast. Rememberable. But I just don't see. Sorry, what am I on about? If I can't remember them, they're not rememberable. So sorry. I know I'm gonna get a load of hate. And then, yeah, so episode 4 isn't as interesting because you're basically just looking for somewhere to go, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Right? You meet this newish character who's got a limp metal bar around his leg, I guess. Is that what you call it? I'm not sure. Sort of cagey kind of thing because he's got a bad leg, obviously. He's got medical supplies, and I took him off him because he has glasses, and I just was like, give me your glasses too. And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. And then that's pretty much it. And then it obviously doesn't work out, and you meet the kid with glasses again, and it turns out he's got this little gang of who are shooting at you, and then brings us to the newest episode 5, and it opens up with, from the last episode, guns blazing, boom, 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 and but the woman has died, the one who gave birth due to blood loss, and so you run over, save the baby. I chose to anyway. I'm not. What dick just leaves a baby there in a gunfire? I mean, just say, no one does that. It's like red flag number 1000. And then Jane returns. That's it. I quite like Jane, to be fair. She was really badass in the only 3 episodes. I got a text message. It was sweet. And then why? But the only reason I didn't like is she left because she's a survivalist, but only to return to save the gang and stay with the gang. I hate when shows, TV shows, films, games, books do this. You know, when they isolate a character and then just make that character go away only for them to return. What's the point in that? Well, it kills. I know it's to add suspense, or you know, like, oh holy shit, the only one who can survive is gone. But it's like they did that in Walking Dead, but they made Daryl go away with Mel, and then they only just returned in the same episode. It's like, well, that was pointless. Yeah, I know it's to show. I mean, that's a conversation for a different day. And then they survive, and the only one left in the bad gang is the one with glasses, but he's talking about this sort of shelter, and then they need to get into warmth for the baby that they're carrying now, and did I mention the one who's pregnant gave birth in episode 4. I'm sure I did, but if I didn't, that's what happened. Okay, that's the main sort of theme in that episode. Okay, going back to this one. Then they go to his house, which is pretty much still being built. So most of the windows are still not attached, and it's pretty much half built, quoting Kenny. And they go there for heat, and then I don't know if this bit's optional or not, but I fell in for Icy River to save Luke. Yeah, it was Luke, wasn't it? Yeah, the guy yeah, and Luke dies because he gets pulled down by a zombie because there's zombies that fall in. And Clementine, who you play as, is slowly freezing to death, so they have to get her in and build a fire, and then she recovers. They find out Kenny's found a car and he's trying to fix it. Kenny starts the car. They have a disagreement of where to go. Kenny wants to go to this place for baby's sake, but the rest of the gang want to go to somewhere warm, and actually the place where you were kept captive in episode 3, because they know there's stuff there and they can survive for a bit. And it's really, there's no right answer to this one, I don't think, because you all just sleep on it. And then you get waken up by a noise, and it's Mike and Bonnie and the kid with glasses trying to get out alive because they think Kenny's a psycho. And I ended up getting shot. I'm pretty sure that bit's scripted as well. And then you have this flashback, and I think this is the highlight of the episode, where you talk to Lee, who was the main antagonist in season 1, who was really cool. And yeah, it was a touching moment, and it touched me there. And then you wake up and you find out that Kenny and Jane saved you. Jane's got the baby. They're having this argument, and you can't really stop it. And then they go. There's this pile up of cars they can't really go through. So then they have to. Kenny goes around trying to find diesel for petrol of the car, and then there's a zombie attack, and you lose control of the car, and then you have to escape. And then you can't. This bit I found quite hard, to be fair, because you couldn't see what was going. You really have to squint your eyes. You find this little place, and then Kenny's there. Jane comes in. Jane makes out that the baby's dead, and then Kenny and Jane basically go apeshit on each other, which is actually the coolest part of the episode. Even though there was some really cool bits in it, that was, oh my god, I was just... it was like what I said about episode 3, where you didn't know, shit just hits the fan, you don't know what to do. So you're literally... I try my best to not kill either, but you have to kill one of you. You have to either let Kenny kill Jane, or you kill Kenny. So I did the Joe Henry thing and just shot Kenny. And that was the saddest death in a video game. Well, okay, maybe not as sad as Lee's death, but... well, not in video game history, obviously, but out of all the Walking Dead deaths in the game, that's probably the second saddest, and I was going to get angry at it because, like, in the first season, Kenny sacrificed himself, and they basically made it look like he died, but he didn't, obviously. So only to get him killed in the second season is kind of pointless. But then with the death scene, and then you say you can be with your original wife and son who died in the first season. That was just you're speechless. You don't know. I was like, well, shit, I didn't know what to do. I'm actually sort of shaken talking about it, like, because it's one of those bits that I love in any genre of media, like books, TV, films, where you find a character who's maybe torn apart, or, maybe not torn apart, maybe just normal, and then something happens to them, or maybe it's just a line, and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to process it, and then the feels come, the feels. And then that's pretty much it, and you don't know what to say. Even I don't know what to say. I'm just rambling on. And then there comes the bit that I've got that kind of ruined it a bit for me as well. Like, as much as I don't like babies dying, they do. It turns out the baby's not dead, and Jane made it up just to show Clementine what Kenny would be like, gone batshit crazy. And I was just like, you basically made me kill him for no reason. And I know no one's going to get out of it alive, but yeah. Oh well. and then you walk off, you find the shelter from number 3, and you meet these new survivors, and you have a choice of letting them go, if I turn them away or invite them in. And I did for Rick Grimes kind of thing. I invited them in, trying to build up a new community, and cut to black. Yeah. And it was also for survivors who you didn't convince in 400 Days DLC. Before I start saying, you just didn't forget that. So yeah, so overall, I really liked Season 2. I didn't think it was as good as Season 1. But with that said, Season 1, when you think about it, kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, when they announced... I remember when they announced, my mate told me this, they were going to make a Walking Dead game, but they weren't going to make it, for first-person shooter. They were going to make it a point-and-click Telltale game. I was like, well, that's going to die fast. And then it turned out to make Game of the Year, and I played it, and then Lee's death was just a punch in the face. It was like, you didn't expect to connect to those characters, and you did, which was lovely, to be fair, because it's been so long since I played a game where you've actually felt connected to characters. I know it sounds like a nerdy, wimpy thing to say, but I really like watching things and feeling connected to characters, because then it's so much more painful. Then, well, it becomes real what they're going through, because it's like when you watch something where you're not connected with characters, you just don't care. And then if you invest in them and you care, you're going to be like, oh good, they're going to die maybe or something, And then, it was nice. I didn't think Season 2 held up as good as Season 1, but I still think it can stand on its own 2 legs, and I believe you can play it without playing Season 1, but I do recommend playing Season 1 then Season 2, because then you get... And Clementine's story arc is amazing, because if you play Season 1, she's this cute, innocent girl, and then in Season 2, she's this badass who just swears at people. Well, I made her swear, it was pretty funny. It's just... and, I really enjoyed the game, the character... Well, most of the characters. There's 1 or 2 I found a bit annoying, but luckily the 1 or 2 I found annoying die inevitably, so... And then you just... I would buy it if you haven't bought it yet, if you're thinking about buying it. Most of you, if not all of you, if you are watching this, if you are interested in watching this, have probably bought it, completed it, and probably maybe you thought it was rubbish, maybe you thought it was the best game ever. Frankly, good for you, because we all have different ideas of the game and our own opinions. So I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, where I just talk for ages about particular topics. And yeah, thanks for watching.